Mangwana ni Malelepo Vukenjani Klekwas Vanave Africa. Welcome to Africa Good Morning, the news and current affairs show, bringing you everything you need to know happening on the African continent and beyond. You are joined by Ashwin Mbedi on Tuesday, the 5th of November. And we're going to be looking at some very interesting stories today, starting with some the developments in Chad, as well as some interesting comments with regards to slavery reparations stemming from the UK Foreign Secretary. We're also going to be talking to Mike Sichula, who will bring us the news from Zambia, and Rory Sang Mohojwe will deliver the latest news stories from Botswana. This is Africa Good Morning. Top stories shortly.
Neo Paints has established a 67-year Namibian legacy, creating personalized paint solutions that blend quality and innovation for the Namibian people. We pride ourselves in being a 100% Namibian-owned company, investing in our country and our people by employing and empowering true Namibians. With every brushstroke, Neo Paints commits to our quality guarantee and always delivering a coat of excellence. At Neo Paints, we always stay true to our country. We are as Namibian as you.
Chad's interim president, Mohamed Idris Deby, has threatened to withdraw the Central African country from a multinational security force, which he said had failed in its task of tackling insurgent groups in the Lake Chad region. Deby made the statement during a visit to the region, which sits in part of Western Chad and also Nigeria, Niger, and Cameroon. Around 40 Chadian soldiers were killed in an attack there by suspected Boko Haram militants in late October. Announcing the launch of an operation against the attackers, Deby said he was considering withdrawing from the multinational joint task force made up of troops from the countries bordering Lake Chad. Now, the joint forces work has been complicated by divisions and a lack of cooperation. But the withdrawal of Chad would represent a major blow, as its armed forces are among the most respected in the region. Deby cited the lack of joint efforts against common enemy, which is unfortunately always observed on the ground. This force, created with the aim of pooling efforts and intelligence, seems to be in a slump. The Lake Chad region has been repeatedly attacked by insurgencies, including by Islamic State militants in West Africa and Boko Haram, which erupted in northeast Nigeria in 2009 and spread to the west of Chad. Now, Reuters spoke to 13 victims of a series of intense violent raids in eastern Gezira over the past 2 weeks, which affected at least 65 villages and towns, according to activists. This is in Sudan. The UN says some 135,000 people have been displaced, largely in Kassala, Gedaref, and River Nile states, which are already packed. Many of the more than 11 million internally displaced by the devastating war that broke out in April 2023. I am shocked and deeply appalled that human rights violations of the kind witnessed in Darfur last year are being repeated in Al Gezira state. These are atrocious crimes, said the UN's top official in Sudan, Clementine Quetta Salami, referring to attacks last year that prompted accusations of ethnic cleansing and crimes against humanity from the United States and others. The war has unleashed hunger across the country, erased most signs of a functioning state in RSF-held areas, and prompted fears of fragmentation. UN Foreign Secretary David Lammy has said the concept of reparations for former colonial nations affected by slavery is not about the transfer of cash. In his first comments since 56 Commonwealth leaders signed a statement saying the time had come for conversation about reparations, Lammy told the BBC that was not the debate people are wanting to have. The UK government previously ruled out paying reparations for slavery, and Downing Street said its position included other forms of non-financial reparatory justice too. Lamy said the UK would instead look to develop relations with African nations through sharing skills and science. During his first visit to Africa as Foreign Secretary, Lamy said reparations were not about money, particularly at a time of a cost of living crisis. Reparations are measures to make amends for past actions deemed wrong or unfair and can range from the financial to symbolic. Caribbean nations have made a 10-point plan for reparatory justice in which they call for a full formal apology, education programs, healthcare, and direct monetary payments. Speaking in Lagos, a Nigerian port city once central to the transatlantic slave trade, the Foreign Secretary said the period was horrific and horrendous and had left scars. Millions of Americans are headed to polling booths to cast their ballots in the 2024 presidential election, in which Democratic candidate Kamala Harris and her Republican rival Donald Trump are locked in a tight race. There are 230 million eligible voters, but only about 160 million of them are registered. Nearly half of the 50 states in the United States, however, allow on-the-day registration, while citizens can vote without registering in North Dakota. More than 70 million people have already voted through postal ballots or at early in-person polling stations. Voters will also elect 34 U.S. senators out of 100 and all 435 members of the U.S. House of Representatives. All right, those have been our top stories on Africa. Good morning. After the break, we talk to Mike Sichula as he brings us the news stories from Zambia.
Welcome to Namibia, where adventure meets tranquility. With Enjoy, you have access to a wide range of accommodations to suit every traveler's taste and budget. Experience the finest dining and hospitality Namibia has to offer. Booking your dream accommodation is just a few clicks away with Enjoy. Join thousands of happy travelers who have trusted Enjoy for their Namibian getaway. Your gateway to unforgettable Namibian adventures. Visit us today at enjoy.my.na.
All right, it's time for us to talk to Mike Sichula in Zambia. Mike, Uribwanji.
Nerebuino Muribwanji, Africa, good morning to our dear viewers.
Africa, good morning to the dear viewers indeed. Now, bomb experts have destroyed 109 shell bombs that were illegally dumped at a dump site. Tell us more.
Yes, a lot of questions have been asked as to who dumped these dangerous weapons at a dump site, which is owned by the local authority in Kapilimposhi, that is central Zambia. So the Zambia Army bomb experts did destroy 109 mortar shell bombs that were dumped at Kapilimposhi Council dump site. So during an operation named Explosive Ordnance Disposal was conducted on Saturday, 2nd November 2024. The Army personnel from military engineering based in Florida found 109 pieces measuring 81 millimeters and 16 millimeters mortar bomb shells. So what prompted this is that last week on 31st October 2024, a bomb exploded at the dump site, injuring a council employee and a member of the community. So this resulted in two army officers to move in, and when they moved in, they just discovered that instead of one bomb, there were actually about 109 pieces of these bombs. So a number of Zambians have been left wondering as to how such dangerous weapons could have been disposed at a dump site, and this dump site is actually closer to the main road that leads from Lusaka to the Copper Belt. And people are wondering what could have happened if this one bomb did not explode to raise an alarm. But the good part is that authorities moved in quickly, and according to what they have discovered, it seems those were the only bombs, but they have just now warned members of the public to be wary in terms of collecting scrap metal so that they are not harmed in any way.
Very interesting discovery there, Mike. Now, moving on, Simon Mwanza Kapwepwe International Airport has won the Best International Airport in Southern Africa award.
Yeah, something that is of commendable and something that has excited the Zambian tourism industry. So the award was held at the 2024 World Luxury Awards held in Bali, Indonesia. So Simon Mansakapwepwe has been awarded the prestigious title of Best International Airport Regional for Southern Africa. The award was presented at the gala ceremony, and it attracted over 300,000 international guests, travelers, and industry experts to vote for the winners. And this airport is actually what has Zambia's is one of the airports that the Zambian government has developed, from the KK International Airport in Lusaka, the Halimanga Nkombola Airport in Livingstone, and the Simon Mwanza International Airport on the Copper Belt in Ndola. So these are three modern airports that have were recently constructed by the government, and these awards have excited the international community as well as the Zambian tourism players, who say such an award, Zambia needs to take advantage of such awards in order to increase tourist inflow into the country.
All right, congratulations to Zambia. I certainly look forward to visiting that airport quite soon. Now, the United States has opened its first ever commercial service office in Zambia at the U.S. Embassy in Lusaka, the United States. Tell us more about it.
So the office, which is the 13th in Africa, will work to maximize business opportunities for both countries. During the launch, Commerce Trade Minister Mlenga Chipoka says the new partnership will help improve the country's business portfolio and provide a platform for value addition to agriculture and mining products, among others. So it is what the United States views as a step forward in order to increase bilateral relationship between Zambia and the United States of America. So it being the 13th office in Africa, the United States has looked at Zambia as one of those countries that has a stable environment in terms of peace and security, and them establishing this partnership, they want to see to it that a number of American companies invest in Zambia increase, so that the trade between the two countries move from what it is to higher heights.
All right. And now let's move on to sport, Mike. Copper Queen striker Rachel Kundananji has propelled Bay FC to a historic United States National Women's Soccer League playoff spot. Yo, she's worth every single penny.
She is worth every single penny, like you've put it, because she is the world's most expensive player, both male and female. And she used this opportunity when BFC needed to clinch this win for them to play their first playoffs. And also, she has become the first BFC player to score a brace. And Kundananji has now moved, because she had gone for some time without scoring. And when she scored in this match, she scored two vital goals that helped BFC to move to the playoffs, just as the other club that Babla Banda represents, that is Orlando Pride. So this achievement has also helped a number of Zambian players to look up to them going into the United States of America, where they can apply their trade in terms of football. And also, Lecho Kundananji believes that this achievement is one of which she needs to take to the upcoming WAFCON, which will be held in Morocco. And remember, Zambia did lose the WAFCON to South Africa. And because of the number of players that Zambia have, they now believe that they can win the WAFCON come.
All right. I'm not quite sure what happened there. We seem to have lost Mike Sichula. He was on his last story talking about Rachel Kundananji helping her team Bay FC clinch a playoff spot. And she is the most expensive transfer in women's football history, in African transfer as well. Stay with us as we now swing over to Botswana and talk to Rorisang Bohojwe. So normally when a president has been elected, we expect him to be president-elect for a while. We expect the invitations to go out. There's big fanfare. There's a huge inauguration. All the African heads of states attend. But Botswana is quite different. They get straight down to business because Botswana's new president, Duma Boko, has officially taken office. Dumelang Rorisang, please take us into the story and more.
Dumela Ashwin and Dumela to all the listeners and the viewers this morning. Thank you very much for having me. Yes, you are correct. The new president, Advocate Maboko, has taken office. Actually, he was sworn in, and the handover happened yesterday, right here in the capital city of Gaborone. They had a joint media briefing as well as an official handover between him and the outgoing president, Mokgweetsi Masisi. It was quite interesting to watch because the outgoing president Mokgweetsi Masisi is he threw his support behind Dumaboko saying, I am here for you, I will mentor you, and I will be there for you. And we believe that Botswana have spoken, that is the will of the people, and therefore we support the will of the people. And in turn, Dumaboko also praised Masisi for his graceful exit, and the two are seen to be, on very good terms. Masisi gracefully accepted defeat, and now it's business for Dumaboko. The people are watching him to say, you have a lot of work to do, so we put you there for a reason. And there's that excitement and anticipation to see what new changes he will bring. And yeah, that's really what happened yesterday in terms of the new president taking office. He's expected to be at the inauguration on Friday, this coming Friday, and that's when the fanfare will be, as you mentioned, Ashwin.
You know, Rorisang, forgive my silence. I'm actually still in awe of a couple of things. The smooth transition, seeing the two presidents hugging and smiling. These are very rare occasions in Africa, and Botswana is really leading the way. However, following Botswana's October 30 elections, the Southern African Development Community Electoral Observation Mission has made some recommendations.
Yes, and speaking of seeing the two heads of state hugging and being buddy-buddy, that is what, the people are now saying that because Masisi has handed over, it has now placed Botswana once again as a shining beacon of democracy, as the poster child for democracy and good governance in Africa still. And that is what the Southern African Development Corporation Electoral Observer Mission was saying, that because the elections were held in a very peaceful manner, Botswana continues to maintain that role and that position as the poster child of good governance and democracy. They have made a few recommendations, though. I mean, generally, they're saying that the elections were conducted in a peaceful manner, but there were some concerns that were picked up and recommendations that were made. And some of these concerns was the Electoral Act. It needed to be amended in order to allow both the digital and the hard copies of the election to be made available to the public for inspection. Because if you can recall, that was one of the main worries or concerns from the opposition, that the IEC or the Independent Electoral Commission might be hiding something by not unveiling the digital copy. But in fact, the Electoral Act does not allow the IEC to avail the digital copy, only the hard copy. So that was one of the recommendations made by SADC as well as Africa's National Observation. Another one was the fact that advanced polling should allow a lot more categories, including people with disabilities, expectant mothers, the elderly as well, to participate so that on elections day, they do not have a problem with that. Other representations include women and youth, whom the international election observers say that should actually be more, they should participate a lot more than they did, especially in politics. Those are some of the recommendations that were made by the SADC International Election Observer Missions. But generally, they say the elections were conducted in a peaceful manner. And, Botswana has a new president, a new regime after nearly 6 decades, and everybody is really looking forward to the change that is coming. And they are looking at the new president to say, we are watching you now. Do what you promised us that you will do for us.
All right. Thank you so much, Rorisang, for bringing us the news stories from Botswana.
Thank you very much for having me. Good morning.
It's always good to have you in Africa. Good morning. Let's have a look at the weather predictions. Now, South Africa's Competition Tribunal's decision to block a merger between Vodacom and a major fiber operator will likely derail a push by South African telecoms firms to use big M&A deals as a shortcut to digital infrastructure expansion, analysts said. The ruling, which blocked South Africa's top telco from taking a 30% stake in major fiber operator Maziv, could force companies to build their own networks or pursue smaller, less controversial tie-ups, delaying much needed investment by years. Let's have a look at the economic indicators. Thank you for staying with Africa Good Morning throughout the broadcast. Here are some of the highlights. Chad threatens to withdraw from multinational security force. Sudan's RSF chases civilians out of villages in violent raids. And blocked Vodacom merger derails South African telcos M&A push, analysts say. DSTV 285, GoTV 25, OneUp2.com and Network Media Hub on YouTube is precisely where you can find us every single weekday. From me, Ashwin Berry, and the Africa Good Morning team, Swera Jaganaga.